What's up, my pilots? Angryponcho here, and we're back playing Minecraft! I have finally returned from my week-long vacation over spring break, and oh, I come bearing gifts. I did some screwing around while I was on vacation, and I built some mob grinders, some prototype things here. Some of this is my design, most of it's not. Most of this is a design by Monkeyfarm. I don't know if he actually came up with this explicitly or if he derived it from other grinders, but this grinder here is pretty much exactly what you can find on Monkeyfarm's channel. He's one of those Minecraft-only channels, so he's got a lot of dedicated videos. Like he has one dedicated to building this kind of grinder, so you can find that on his channel. Easy enough to search for. Monkeyfarm, one word. And it is a very effective mob grinder if you're looking to spawn many different kinds of mobs and have them die to drop items for you. It's not really what you want if you want to get experience. So let me show you how this works. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the lights on in there, make it nice and bright, and I'm going to go to peaceful. Now if you want a really in-depth explanation of how this farm works, again, you can find it on Monkeyfarm's channel. I recommend his videos are alright. Like I say, he's one of those Minecraft exclusive channels, and so he sort of dedicated himself to one game, which can be a very good thing. Up here we have all of these platforms, and these are where the mobs spawn. You have these half slabs here to make sure that there's no space for spiders to appear, and the pressure plates, I believe, prevent endermen from appearing. So we put all these platforms in, and the mobs spawn up here, and they're just chilling and chilling and chilling. And down here at the bottom, you have these water chutes, so that any mobs that fall off the platforms get washed into this hole. Now, that's not going to be very many, until you go over here and throw this lever, and all the redstone stuff out here activates. You probably heard some pistons move. Let me go back inside. I could just turn no clip on. That would have made me immune to damage too, but the creepers will still go off. Those pistons were blocking water. Behind these red blocks here, there's a piston blocking a stream of water, and now it's moved backwards, so it's no longer blocking it. Let me see if I can get in there and show you guys this. Yeah, so you can see the water block flowing from over here, and the piston is right there, and it extends out there to block it. So when you activate this, all the mobs standing on these platforms get washed into these channels. They fall down here, land in the water, hopefully don't take very much damage because there's pressure plates under the water here. Let me show you what this looks like. It puts this gap underneath. So you can see there's a water's edge here. That's because there's air under there. There's one layer of air underneath this where the pressure plates are. And it's sort of hard to see from the side, but it's in there. And the spiders will actually fall into it and be in the air, and they won't be washed down by the water. So this grinder does not work for spiders or endermen. It only collects zombies, skeletons, and creepers. And this is pretty much exactly as Monkeyfarm designed it. It works pretty cool. It grinds all the time whenever you have mobs turned on, and when you're not on peaceful. They just keep appearing in there as long as this isn't a loaded chunk, and they just keep falling out the bottom. And if you want to get a bunch at once, you throw the lever. He called this his Mobs on Demand system. That was the name he gave it, and I think it's pretty appropriate, so I'm not going to mess with that. But down here, you see I put a little collection area for stuff to fall, and I'm actually going to turn the mobs back on so that they'll keep falling out of there. Let me turn the lights back off. I don't know if that affects spawning or not, but it doesn't really matter. Go ahead and do that. So let's see, over there I did an experiment to see how far mobs could fall without dying, and I found that if they land in water, they can fall 30 blocks and be fine. Probably farther, actually. So I wanted something a little more. I like Mobs on Demand. It generates mobs pretty much all the time, and on these super flat worlds, it's super efficient because there's no other space for mobs to appear. Since I've lit the area down there with lava, the only darkness in these chunks is inside the grinder, and so it's 100% efficient as far as its potential. But I wanted more, you know me. So I wanted to get endermen and spiders too. And so I designed my own version of Mobs on Demand. I sort of augmented it, and in his video he mentioned that all you really need to do is make the channels wider so that spiders will fall down, and to nix on the pressure plates and half slabs. So I did that, and I made some other changes as well. And this is what it looks like from the outside. Let me show you the user view first. So this is what you would see once you had finished building it. So it's got a lot of options, and freaking I hate these slimes on these super flat worlds. I wish there was a way to turn off mobs, to turn off the slimes. Just get rid of them. Now you got all these little bastards. And I have instant mine on. I probably should turn that off. Oops, hello. One word. There, now I can actually punch these guys without breaking away half the dirt in my world. Get out of here. So irritating. So yeah, now that that's taken care of, over here is sort of the user view of mobs on demand. And the bottom part here, this is actually a modification again of Monkeyfarm's design. He does a similar thing where he has pistons come up to block the hole. So right now it's in off mode. Let me turn it on. So now mobs that are generating up in the grinder there fall down a long shaft here and land on these 4 squares. And then you can kill them for experience if you let them live. And I actually have a water cushion here. So I turn this on. It puts water in there. Let me show all of this, and then we'll put mobs in it. How about that? There we go. So I'll just clip inside here. See, there's this water cushion, and the way that these work, and you'll see in my water science video when I finally get around to making it, is you can fall through this and you will not die. It generates your momentum back to 0, and so you basically only fall the 3 blocks, or well, 4 blocks in this case, underneath it. But mobs won't die from that, so it's all good. And I have a lever here. You throw that if you want to get rid of it. Pistons come up and block it here. And the result is that the mobs will die, because this is a 30 block fall, I think, without any water at the bottom, so they're definitely going to die when they hit the ground. So this is the position you'd have it in if you wanted to get their items. And if you couldn't reach the items, you throw this lever, and it washes them right out to you. Yeah, beware spiders when you open up the front part here. If there are any alive in there, they'll come out after you. So yeah, so this is the position you'd have it in if you wanted them to fall and drop items, and you could just stand here and collect them every so often. Not good for AFK grinding, but then again, that's not what this is really meant to do. This is not an AFK kind of grinder. If you want to just get loads of mobs for experience or for items, you just build one where they automatically die or they automatically collect, and you go AFK to let them just run and run and run and run and run. And then you come back and use Splash Potion of damage to kill them all, or if it's zombies, healing all at once. So that's not really what this is meant to do. It's meant for you to have a lot of options as to how you control them. And the whole idea of mobs on demand is that you don't go AFK. You just stand here and you push the button whenever you want some more. So you can have it in the middle of your base and just run by and say, oh, I'd like some experience, please. Push the button and you get some experience. So yeah, if you activate the water cushion, they will not die, and so you can kill them. No guarantees how much health they'll have left, since they might take some damage falling through the grinder, landing in the water chutes and such. And they take a little bit, like half a heart from the 4-block fall here. So they're still going to have most of their health. But then again, if you want to kill a bunch of mobs really easily, build a grinder on a spawner. And that's the better way to do that for experience. This is for getting you control and getting you items from the mobs that die. And it also generates more than just one kind of mob, so you get a variety of items. Because my zombie grinder, you only get zombie flesh, and that's crap. It's useless. So if you want bones and arrows and string, you can get that from here, as well as creeper dust. So let's say you don't want it to collect mobs here. You can throw this lever. This piston comes up to block the hole, and the floor opens to the lava pit of doom below, just like in Mobs on Demand. So that is all of that, and there's a button here that flushes out the top system. Now here's where I've done some extra redstone of my own. Rather than making it a lever, it's a button. You just push it, and it handles everything itself. If we go up here, let me show you the other version. This is the same thing, except all of the brick you see has been turned into glass, just to make it more transparent. I can't believe I was actually going to say that. So down here, you push this button. We'll do the top part first. You push this button to flush out mobs. It sends a vertical redstone signal through all these torches. And we get up here to where this signal goes. It's right here. Trace it along this way. It runs over here to a timer circuit. This is an RS NOR latch, these 4 blocks with the torches attached. Powers this circuit. turns off that torch, turns off that line, turns on that torch, and the signal starts here. And these repeaters take a while to get around, and eventually they come over here and power this line. That power turns off this torch, which turns off that line, which turns this torch on. So it basically resets. So this line comes on and stays on until this signal comes around and turns it off. So now it's in the off state. So I actually have a test button here. If I push this, you see, whoops, the signal propagates around. This line stays on until the signal gets around, and then it turns itself off. And that amount of time is the amount of time it takes to flush the mobs. So the pistons retract, water rushes out and pushes them into the pits, very much like inside Mobs on Demand. And this timer just does about the right amount of time to push them all off the edges. Now this signal over here is where that signal actually goes, and it runs again up here. And this just runs a loop all the way around the back here like a belt. And it has vertical wiring so that the pistons, which are hidden, I think, right behind this block inside there, they all activate pretty much simultaneously. It's actually the ones on top that go last, which is just because of the redstone propagation delay through these vertical torches, but it's not really a problem. So you push that button down there, it sends a pulse, times itself, and shoots all of the mobs into the water. Let me hop inside mine. Oh, it's dark. So you see it looks a lot like Mobs on Demand. Big things you might notice: no half slabs, that allows spiders to appear, no pressure plates, that allows endermen to appear, and down here there's no pressure plates underneath the water. This is so spiders don't have any free space underneath to get stuck inside. The hole is also 3x3 instead of 1x2. Now that 1x2 hole in Mobs on Demand is designed to go into Monkeyfarm's specially designed control unit at the bottom. I didn't use the exact same control unit, but I used one similar on my 3x3. But I wanted to work with a 2x2 hole, and so I made this little system here, which is sort of hard to tell with the graphical lag. But this is just 3 pistons here, which are pushing and pulling, sticky pistons, pushing and pulling 3 blocks in and out. So that when a mob falls, and they land on this switch here, these pistons, or these things here, these pistons will just be on a timer, and they come out and push them into the hole. And the same thing here for these 2 blocks, so that it cuts this 3x3 hole down to a 2x2. And that just makes it easier for me to handle at the bottom, so that when they fall, I only have to worry about 2 open spaces rather than them having a 3x3 grid to move around in, which would be difficult to manage, to say the least. I'll put some glass in here so you can actually see this from the outside. And all this is just pistons. They are on a timer loop right here, which is just a bunch of redstone in a circle with some repeaters to slow it down and some torches to invert so that they go at opposite times. I actually think they ended up going at the same time, but it doesn't matter. In this case, it only takes 2 pushes of the pair of these to make sure that any mob falls in. Because the worst case is he lands in this corner here and gets pushed to here and then gets pushed in, which only takes 2 turns of this sequence, which is pretty fast. That's not really a problem, just a little fix. So the water chutes here are a bit wider in Mobs on Demand if you count blocks across like this. Oops, you'll find that there are 3, and here in my design there are 5 blocks in between, so I made them 2 blocks wider. That makes it really easy for spiders to fall in here and not get stuck in the corners. They actually push down through the water like they're supposed to. And everything else is pretty much the same. The mobs flush in much the same way, with this half slab here allowing the water to spread all the way over these largest triangular platforms. And the good thing about triangular platforms is that they all wash out to the edges. I'm sure that there are other interpretations of this that would make a diamond-shaped platform in the middle and just use 1 block of water, but I'm not sure how easy that would be to implement. And then you'd have to have your channels around the outside rather than in an X like this. So it's just preference and really on how you wanted to design it. This is how mine appeared to me. If you go back down here to the bottom, you can see some of the redstone that it takes. You can see the size of this little building that's at the bottom. All of this is there just to house redstone and keep it safe from creeper blasts that might wander around in the night. None of this needs to be built out of obsidian to keep it safe from creepers, but you could build some of it if you wanted to, just to make it look cooler. Like, for example, I'd suggest maybe the blocks on the floor that push out to block the lava, those could be obsidian, that might be alright, but it's really not necessary. So here we've got the water flusher. You just throw this lever and it runs back here and turns off some pistons, which allows the water to come out. and then it goes all over the place. This is a tangle of redstone. So here's the lava pit signal. It comes down here, and it splits. This line goes to the other side to open those 2 pistons. This line comes over here, gets some repeaters, and then turns off these 2 torches, which don't expect to understand this. I'm just trying to give you guys the whole full view of it. Not all at once, at least. So there's these 2 pistons here, which is what pushes out to block the lava pit. And then in the back here, we have the 2 torches underneath here that do the water extender. And then you've got signal, actually no, this signal here is the water flusher, which turns off this piston, which allows this block of water to flow out here into the middle. Now you don't want to balls this up if you don't want to flush the water while the lava's open, because it'll burn your lava out and turn it to obsidian. So you gotta make sure you close that before you flush them out. If you're interested, I could give you guys a tutorial video on how to make this. Really, I just wanted to show it off and sort of say, hey, here's something you could do for the grinder. I'm going to give the schematic files and the world as downloads in the description. But I think let's do some tests here. So let me. Oh shit! Not what I wanted. Derp. Crap. Hang on. No. No. Oh shit. Balls. All right. Whoops. Turning off no clip occasionally makes you just balls out and die. So I guess what am I in creative now? I don't want that. I mean, I clicked on it, but still. Get all this crap out of my inventory, man. Alright, so I'm just gonna give myself a sword. And we'll come over here to the one that's made out of stone because it looks nicer. And let's turn mobs on. We'll give a little demonstration here. So I just turned on mobs. I guess you guys can look at the timestamp. We'll see how long this takes before they start just falling on their own. Because some are dumb and will walk off the edges of the platforms. Now, as of Minecraft 1.2.3, mobs are a lot smarter in their AI, and so they don't walk off the edges of platforms willy-nilly. They see the edge and they choose not to die, and they actually perceive an edge with a sign on it as an edge. They don't think the sign is a block, like they previously did. So now the only mobs that will fall by themselves are ones that are pushed. Which kind of sucks, you know, it's like, oh, you bastard, right in the grinder. So that's been, what, like 30 seconds? Let's flush out some mobs. So go ahead and push the button, and mobs start appearing. Oh, let me turn on my water cushion so we can see how many we get. That will spare them. And it takes a little bit of a delay, and then all of a sudden they start coming at once. So you get a bunch of these guys. Now the spiders have some weird behavior. The spiders don't like to be in the mix of the rest of these mobs down here. Because they're sort of wider, and they collide with a bunch of mobs rather than trying to run into one corner like the rest of them do. This is all the mobs that generated in that 30 seconds. It's quite a bit. Is there a way for me to tell how many entities I have on the screen? I feel like there is. I feel like that's 29 or something like that. 30 or so. If it's like a mob a second, it's pretty much really, really fast. So then I could do what I wanted with these guys. I could kill them with my sword and say, ah, I'd like your items, please. Not the most efficient way, since they are, at least if you want items. If you want items, you should just turn off the water cushion and let them all die. And if you want experience, you should use a single grinder. Just get a bunch of them in one square, down to 1 block of health by letting them fall long distances. Now, for this grinder, you could set the fall to be just the right distance, so that they're at that weakened state. Now, here I'm in a predicament. I want to get the items. Oh, look, random drop. I got a bow from somebody. That's cool. I want to kill those spiders. Now, sometimes you can't reach them. It's just a little bit weird. What you can do is wash them out. Oh, creeper just fell in. And the spiders are a little bit crazy. They like to hide in that 2x2 alcove in the back there. I'm not really sure why, but that's where they like to chill. So you can see my inventory down here, all this, how many items we got from that. So in 30 seconds, I got 9 arrows, 5 string, 2 spider eye, a bow, 5 bones, 9 rotten flesh, and 14 gunpowder. That's a pretty good turnover rate. I mean, that's pretty awesome. I'm going to be honest. I'm impressed with how efficient this grinder is. And it's because of the big mobs on demand design at the top with those large platforms. It leaves a lot of space for mobs to spawn. And you don't have to wait. And the time it takes for you to kill these mobs, you're ready to push the button again. So let me save them and let them die. So I'm going to have them just die on the ground here. And we'll see just how many we can get to fall. It's quite a number. And the spiders won't hang on to the edges of the tunnel. They're going to fall and die just like the other mobs. Sometimes they do weird stuff. Like this guy, I think he landed in one of the squares that gets pushed by the pistons and hung on to the side of the block as it was pushing him. They might survive, but they typically don't have much health left. See, he just took one hit, granted from a diamond sword, but still. So it's like, oh, that's enough for me. And then wash the mobs out. And there you go, effectively about the same amount again. And if you're actually killing these guys for experience, which I don't recommend, but you could do, you're gonna spend enough time doing that you can go ahead and flush it again. One thing you should note is if you want spider eye, spiders only drop their eyes when they're killed by the player. They do not drop them when they are dying from a long fall. So be aware of that if you want to get spider eye. But other than that, I think that's really all I wanted to show. I'm testing out a chicken farm over there, but that's not for this video. So yes, I have the schematic file for the both versions of this grinder, I guess. And then you can find mobs on demand on Monkeyfarm's channel. And I have a world download in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. It is good to be back from vacation. Actual LPs proper are going to start back hopefully tomorrow, which is Monday. I'm going to hopefully start back into Pokemon, Fable, racing Broken Champion in Mario, racing through Doom, and continuing our adventures in Minecraft. Some of those will be finishing soon. We only have 2 more races in Super Mario Sunshine before we finish the game. And Doom, we've got, I think, 6 videos. We're probably going to end up having about 6 more videos of that before we finish the 3rd episode. So, then we'll be back down to 3 projects and in our happy zone again. Thank you guys so much for watching. Double outro. See you next time.